Hello, welcome to Module 3 of the Student Success and Study Skills Free Core class sponsored by eCampus. This is Module 3, Learning How to Learn. So in Module 3, the purpose of this lesson is to explore effective ways of acquiring, organizing, and recalling critical information. You will develop strategies for how to plan and evaluate your own study plans in this module. A large part of this module is understanding that a student actually owns their own learning process. Once students understand the level of learning that's involved, they understand what the objectives are for the lesson, for the course, for each thing that assignment that a professor puts out. The student then understands how to set goals, they understand how to put strategies in motion, how to monitor whether those strategies are working, and then set additional goals based on the results that they've had. So understanding how the level of learning work and how the learning processes work really helps a student be efficient in their learning. For example, in this module, students will learn that objectives tell you everything. Highlighted in blue are the action verbs for each objective in this example chapter. Once a student knows and understands what each action verb means, the student understands what type of learning is required, the student understands how to create notes and graphic organizers that will be effective in learning these particular objectives. The student understands how to study. They understand specific strategies that are related to these specific types of objectives, and then they understand what types of test questions actually assess these type of objectives. So the objectives tell the student everything. They are, in essence, a blueprint for learning. In this second example, you'll see that reading effectively involves knowing that headings tell you everything. If you look below, the highlighted in blue are your headings and highlighted in yellow are your subheadings. If your test question was, what is a definition of research? The subheadings actually provide you the response. Research adds, research improves, research informs. If your test question was, what are the 6 steps in the process of research? Your subheadings actually provide the response. The 6 steps include identifying a research problem, reviewing the literature, specifying a purpose for research, collecting data, analyzing and interpreting the data, and reporting and evaluating research. So just as in the previous example, the headings in a textbook actually provide a blueprint for how to acquire the information and how to recall the information. We'll also talk about in this module how notes are love letters to yourself, how it is a language that you are writing to yourself. And so your job using your notes is to translate the knowledge in front of you into a manner that's going to help you understand and acquire it in a better fashion. You are translating the knowledge for yourself. You are your own translator. By the end of this module on learning how to learn, you should be able to demonstrate active reading strategies that incorporate previewing, questioning, and summarizing the text. You should be able to organize new knowledge using notes or visual organizers. You should be able to reinforce learning using the 6 levels of Bloom's taxonomy. And you should be able to develop short and long-term study plans for exams. Lesson 1. The purpose of this lesson on the learning journey is to introduce learners to concepts and strategies related to structuring and monitoring one's own learning. I spoke in the introduction about the fact that students absolutely have the power to monitor, control, structure their own learning processes. Activities for this lesson include watching this very informative TED Talk on the first 20 hours, How to Learn Anything, hosted by Josh Kaufman. While you're watching this TED Talk, consider this. How long does it take to become a proficient in a skill according to Ms. Kaufman? What did Josh learn to do, and how long did it take him to learn it? He's going to present to you a very specific skill. What are the 4 steps to rapid skill acquisition? And also, what is the major barrier to skill acquisition? Think of all of these in terms of your own learning, the information that you acquire, how are you going to structure it, and how long do you think you should allocate to learning these particular topics. In addition, you'll read several articles, one on how to become a self-regulated learner. That's the model that you see here in blue. Metacognition, how to monitor your own learning. And then the 6 main types of critical thinking skills. You'll also watch another video on Bloom's taxonomy, which is the diagram to the right. Think about this. How should learning be structured when you're looking at this particular graphic? Also consider how an understanding of Bloom's taxonomy will help you to understand and evaluate your own learning. How can you predict test questions, and then how can it help you study for exams? Lesson 2 will be on active reading. The purpose of this lesson is to explore how to read textbooks and articles efficiently and effectively. If you want to know how professors read all of those books in their offices, this module will show you how. What are the lessons for this activity? 1, you'll have active reading strategies for textbook assignments. That'll be one video. Another will be on the SQ3R reading method, which is pictured to your right, which is an effective and efficient textbook reading method. It will help you read large amounts of material in a short amount of time and understand how to select the right material to be prepared for your lessons. Your activity will be to take an SQ3R reading sheet and using that worksheet, actively read the article that we provide called Using Active Reading Strategies. Lesson 3 will be on taking great notes. Remember I talked about those love letters earlier? The purpose of this lesson is to allow students opportunities to build a personalized note-taking strategy that is relevant to the content and aligns with the way they learn new information. So this is about organizing and developing notes that are just for you. What are your activities for this lesson? So you'll watch a video on how to take notes, on how to do Cornell notes, and then you'll watch a video on how to improve those notes using an additional strategy. And then you'll watch one on the different types of graphic organizers to learn a visual representation, a visual way of displaying your notes. Your assignment will be to create a visual representation of your learning to demonstrate that you understand how to take what you've seen, what you're acquiring, and translate it into something that you can use to recall the information later. Lesson 4, developing a study plan. The purpose of this particular lesson is to introduce learners to strategies for creating a 5-day study plan. Your activities for this module will include watching a video called Why You Have Bad Results Even Though You Study Hard. I'm sure that we have all encountered this at least once. You'll also read an article called Guidelines for Creating a Study Schedule, and then your assignment will be to develop a 5-day study plan. To check your learning, you'll take the Module 3 quiz, and then you will reflect on the results of an exam that you have taken in the past. What study behaviors or practices would have improved your results? And of course, there will be additional resources for your review. Thank you very much for participating in the Student Success and Study Skills module. Up next is Module 4, Test Taking, Test Anxiety. Thank you so much.